But the victory will be more than just politics as far as I'm concerned. The victory will be an endorsement of a philosophy. I believe in my heart of hearts the victory in 1998 is going to be good for Texas, and that's the most important thing about the campaign.
Shouldn't we abolish the Federal Reserve and the CFR? That's the real reality that none of you will talk about, most of you are members. That's what's destroying this country, Governor. Don't you stand for America, sir? What about the Federal Reserve and the CFR? You people are being lied to. This country's been taken over by Europe, and I'm being drug out. Laugh at it. Let's go. It's funny, isn't it?
Let's grab an arm.
I want y'all to know my family isn't in the slow family. Last meeting. Fine, go ahead,
Public assembly? Okay. Where's the car? I got some cuffs. Let's take him right here, up against this glass. Let's trap him on the glass. Okay. Take that out of his hand.
We have the force, we have the capacity, we have the will, and we will not surrender. We are the ones engaged in the force multiplication special ops. We're the ones galvanizing organizations. We're the ones with leaderless resistance. We're the ones conducting a counter-terrorism sting operation against you, Bill Clinton, you traitor, you globalist agent, and you, Governor Bush, from your CIA, Brown and Harriman brother, banker, oil family. We got your numbers, and we're galvanized, and we are moving forward. And I'm only the messenger, and you be fully aware. You back down now, or you're going to pay. I'd like to thank our sponsors.
What they call a conspiracy.
There was a black helicopter spraying some white powder.
It's bizarre. It's like an invasion.
What's behind this helicopter hell?
Now the strange sightings that have a lot of people in the Lone Star State coming up with a lot of conspiracy theories. Steve Langford reports on the helicopters and health problems that have hit Austin.
It's the sound.
It sounds just like a tornado.
They were so loud that they shook the windows.
That's how they know they're back.
It was huge.
You could see the machine gun mounts on them and everything. And they were black.
The black helicopters.
9 children all came down sick at the same time. The whole side of my car was just covered with dead gnats.
Austin, Texas is a peaceful, laid-back kind of place, just like its favorite son, Willie Nelson. At least it used to be. Until the black helicopters arrived.
It's bizarre. It's like an invasion.
Suddenly, people all over Austin started seeing them, with some saying they'd been harassed and maybe even poisoned by the things.
I can confirm black helicopters are swarming all over Texas and the rest of the U.S., harassing citizens, police, anybody that gets in their way.
Black helicopters, the strike force, the New World Order.
Alex Jones is a popular radio talk show host with Austin's KJFK, and he's been investigating and reporting on the mysterious black helicopter phenomenon for years.
It reads like a science fiction novel, but it's really happening.
Until recently, the government, the military, and law enforcement had denied the very existence of black helicopters. But now, authorities concede there really are such things.
Yes, black helicopters are real. They're here to take care of you. They're for anti-terrorist training.
But Jones and others suspect the black helicopters are the real terrorists.
You're talking about SS Cavalry right here in America.
The sinister-looking unmarked choppers have been reported buzzing homes, following motorists, landing unannounced in schoolyards, and even dropping a mysterious white dust on Austin neighborhoods.
See, it smears like paint.
Norma Rubel says her car was covered with this stuff after a black helicopter flew over her house.
Looked like somebody took a spray painter and sprayed it.
City officials examined the mysterious substance and declared it cedar ash from a nearby forest fire.
There's no way it looked like cedar ash.
And she says nobody can explain what else she found on her car. Thousands of dead gnats.
Something killed them.
Meanwhile, others who have seen the black helicopters fly over their homes say the dust might have poisoned them.
All of my kids and myself all got sick with stomach trouble.
And the Hopkins family suspects a government cover-up.
I think most people would like to be able to just say, well, our government would never do that.
Alex Jones insists it would.
They've tested what's been sprayed out of the helicopters. It has salmonella and other type bacteria that you would find in garbage.
Jones suspects it's all part of secret government preparations for a possible state of emergency.
We see a lot of indicators that the military is preparing for martial law.
And Jones is not alone.
The government has more control than they need, and I think that the black helicopters probably have something to do with it.
We're in the equivalent of 1936 Germany. Hitler's just now getting his power, and they're getting ready to really clamp down.
Go drive off when I come over there. All I'm out here doing is standing up for the damn Constitution of this country. You think there's something wrong with that? You go ahead and run off, surveillance car. You guys ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Pathetic. That is so sad. With their intelligence vehicles following our people around. That's pathetic. If you want a group photo, we'll all assemble for you and line up for you. We need somebody to come hold this flag while we shred it.
All right, let's all hold it.
Hold it. We say to tyranny in the United Nations.
Get it, Alex.
Death to the New World Order. Death the idea of losing our sovereignty. We don't like this flag, and we're sick and tired of it. We stand for this country, and we will defend it. The United Nations is a tyrannical, authoritarian propaganda arm and military arm of international control. And to it, we refuse to submit. That's all that's going to be left of the UN if they keep pushing their lies. The loss of U.S. sovereignty has gone too far.
I'm here because I'm sick and tired of what happened to them people out there.
The Ku Klux Klan came to protest, but others are protesting Klan members wanting any involvement with the Branch Davidians.
The Klan's saying they were there, but before they killed those people and demonized them, they were there saying kill them. Now they're up here saying, oh, we want to help. They're still trying to hurt those people out there. I'm the person to vote for, and I just decided to do this today. People have been asking me for months, and I've decided to do it. And I'm running for District 48 right here in Austin, Texas. That's the southwest Austin Bee Caves area. That's where I live. And if you want the corruption ferreted out, If you want real information done, I need you down there watching downtown. When they're counting the votes, I need you at all the major polling centers when they're stuffing the ballot boxes. And I'll be there making sure. And they may have some computer fraud going on too. We're not sure. If I lose, I lose. If we don't watch the election fraud close enough, we don't catch it, I'm not going to say it was election fraud unless we have proof. That's right, District 48 for the great legislature of Texas. Yes, that's right. I'm going for the House, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to win. We're going to be watching those computers, and we're going to have people in there counting those votes. And the electioneer people won't know who we've got in there volunteering. I'm going all out in the information war, and I'm going to get inside that system, inside that mechanism, and I'm going to win.
In northern Arizona, overlooking the beautiful Grand Canyon, one of America's most beautiful treasures. And it's very distressing to me and other patriots and people that truly do care about the environment in America that Bill Clinton, with his executive order, January 19, 1996, number 12,986, began the precedent to sign over our national treasures to international control. Yes, this is an international biosphere and World Heritage Site. And guess who controls those? The United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm conducting a scientific experiment. I want to ask y'all if y'all know about Executive Order signed January 19th, 1996 by President Bill Clinton, number 12,986, which designated this as a World Heritage Site under UNESCO, a corporation of the United Nations. None of you heard about this in the mainstream media. None of you heard about it. Nobody's heard about this, have you? Well, they took down the signs in most parks because there was a furor about 3 days after they put up the United Nations signs. No one's heard about it, huh? Well, see, that's how fascism breeds. The environmentalist movement is now nothing but an arm of corrupt international banks and corporations. They're using it as an excuse for land grabs all over the entire world. Remember this, and check it out. Executive Order. Call the Interior Department. Call Bruce Babbitt. Executive Order 12,986. It's important. The modern bureaus of propaganda keep this from you.
No sooner had I turned away that some of the crowd began to laugh and call me a kook. I guess they won't take the time to check out the Executive Order 12,986. I guess they don't believe it unless they hear it from Peter Jennings' mouth.
Most people only look on the surface of things. Most people are not conscious. They never question. As you just saw, I asked the people here if they knew about the Executive Order beginning the long slide towards international control of our wilderness areas and our national parks and monuments. People just don't seem concerned. And that is human nature. But it's not their fault. They haven't been informed. The mainstream media has kept them in the dark. Meanwhile, their rights are being vastly eroded. It's very hard for Americans to make decisions if they're not given good information. No matter what propaganda you want to believe, those babies did not deserve to be murdered by the black ski mask thugs. We're here with Bonnie Haldeman, David Koresh's mother, and there's quite a crowd out here today to, I guess, lend support and try to keep the memories alive of people that did die just trying to live their lives. How do you feel 5 years after the tragedy?
Well, I feel pretty much like I did the same, the day it happened. The great loss and injustice of what was done here to American people in their home, their church, and their family.
I've seen you here today and talked to you some. You seem like a really gentle, nice woman, and that makes me think even more so that all the stories we heard in the controlled media were lies about your son.
They were lies. They were lies. Because he was a kind, gentle person too. Loved people, and his main goal in life was to help, save people's souls. And he didn't like anybody to be unkind to anybody else.
And he also told the BATF to come on over 2 weeks before.
He did. He told them several times to come out. They were in the gun shop one day and found out that they were there asking about him, and he said, "Tell them to come on over."
The sheriff knew him.
Sheriff Harwell knew him, and
the sheriff of this county said that he was a good guy and wasn't bothering anybody, and that this was a good community out here.
He had come out here many times, just in and talked to David, and Sheriff Harwell told me last year, he said, I'm sorry, Bonnie, what happened, if anything I can do for you. And
well, there you have it. Attorney generals, sheriffs here in Waco, the sheriff here in Waco, it just goes on and on. FBI crime lab chiefs, what more do you need? That didn't come out in the trial. You're some kind of provocateur. In fact, you're one of those FBI agents, aren't you?
We're in the middle of one of our interviews right now.
I don't give a damn.
I don't give a damn about you either. So
oh, yeah, you're not going to do anything to me. These people are murderers. These people are murderers. I'm sick and tired of hearing your lies when you machine gunned a bunch of men, women, and children. You got a big problem, buddy. You sit over here. I'm not afraid of you guys. I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I'm sick of it. You sit over here and you talk about how the children huddled in the corner and how the ammunition that they had is what killed them, all the rest of your garbage. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You don't stand up for the Constitution. You stand for zip, not a zero. You have no calm aplomb. It's false, my friend. And let me tell you, a lot of people are writing down your names. You can follow people around. You can harass people. You can back up your bankster buddies. But a revolution of peaceful information's coming, and when it comes time, you people are going to be brought to punishment. You understand? Just like Nuremberg. Just taking orders doesn't cut it, my friend. You understand me?
I think I've assessed you.
Yeah, oh, you've assessed me. Listen, you can sit there and say some kind of little joke. All your textbook garbage, my friend. I got people like General Parton, ex-head of Air Force Weapons Development. We know the federal government destroyed Oklahoma. It's proven. We know what you guys are engaged in, just like Hitler burnt the Reichstag. We know you brought Nazis over here through the rat line to set up our CIA after the OSS. So you can't sit here. You can assess me all day. I want you to assess me. I've assessed you, a smiley-faced slime ball that sits here and soft pedals and tries to placate the media. Waco Rules of Engagement shows your agents machine gunning men, women, and children as they tried to exit. One of the inventors of flare technology, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, is on that documentary. He is of the establishment.
Didn't you hear what I said? Didn't you hear what I said? If I had heard no. you, I would have to ask the question. Well,
yeah, but we don't need this type of placating. Somebody coming in and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry that we did this." We don't need that. We need indictments. Then you need to go and you need to call for indictments of Janet Reno. Okay. Are you calling for an indictment of Janet Reno?
No.
Herman Goering and Drag.
No.
Are you? Oh, so you're not calling for Herman Goering and Drag?
What about the people who ran the tank through this place?
Yeah. Well, here you have it right here. We're told that the bunker was here where the children cowered, where they drove directly in with the tank and pumped in the CS gas at point-blank range, and then they pushed all the rubble over there. So the bunker was somewhere over in this area. This is just more a big brother, and we just went over there to one of the FBI negotiators who's now over here soft-pedaling things.
And not calling for indictments.
And he's not calling for indictments of Reno. Herman Goering and Drag. But you know, all these slaves are going to get what they asked for. The IRS bending people over all day and all night. It's a real pleasure to stand up to Big Brother and all his slimy cronies. Let's get out of here.
We're not radicals in the sense that we want a revolution. No, we just want our government back.
There is a massive consolidation of local police departments under federal control. The Multi-Jurisdictional Task Force and the JTF-6, which is based at Fort Bliss, Texas. They wear black ski masks. They train in military tactics. And they are the big gun and the long arm of the IRS and the criminal system that is running this nation. Make no mistake, the murders of these people and these children was about one thing and one thing only. It was about terrorism against the American people. It was about testing and pushing the limits to see if the government could surround a group, if they could kill those people and burn it to the ground. Waco Rules of Engagement shows the automatic weapons fire as men and women tried to exit the back of the building. That's where most of the bodies were found, right in the edge. Hit squads, military black ops, the same ones that destroyed Oklahoma City, just like Hitler burnt the Reichstag in 1933. I mean, where is our country when ex-attorney generals of the United States of America are here telling you that Reno and the rest of them and the Republicans and the Democrats are all the same people?
Which show that we carry over our militarism right into our churches to assault church people.
Well, yes, sir. My first question is, or my first statement about this is you're absolutely right. I mean, we have military training, people in black ski masks. with the MJTF, the multi-jurisdictional task forces, training directly with our local law enforcement in Austin, Texas, where I'm from, and I found out that this is a nationwide movement.
Sure it is, and the sad part is, you know, the cop is supposed to be our friend on the beat. He's the one that gets the cat out of the tree and takes care of the lost kids and stops someone from burglarizing a home and stuff like that. Instead, they love to be SWAT team. You know?
It's the thin blue line. They're teaching them. In fact, I've heard police.
Pretty thick blue line right now.
I've done interviews at protests and things, and the police walk up and say, "Stay behind the demarcation line," and you'll hear them talking. Watch the civilians. They're using military terminology. Is this dangerous?
Of course, it's dangerous. The paramilitary concept of police is a police state. You know, and our Constitution was created to prevent a police state.
But the thing that I don't think that the American public realizes is that this military training is going on. What are some things that we can do to get this reversed, hopefully?
Well, I think we have to resist at every level. If you don't work at the national level, you can't expect the local level. I mean, after all, we're providing a lot of federal funds for the local level, and they love it.
And that brings control.
It brings control. It brings technology. It brings things they don't need, you know.
Infrared.
Who needed tanks out here? Yeah, you've got everything that billions and billions of dollars of research and development to provide the military are now being diverted.
It's going into civilian control. Have you seen Waco Rules of Engagement?
Sure.
It's horrifying, isn't it?
It's horrifying. The whole story is even more horrifying.
Sir, I didn't actually see this last year, but I heard about it reported in some of the alternative press. Is it true that last year you spoke about how the Trilateral Commission is running the country?
Well, I've criticized the Trilateral Commission for many years, but I don't really think the Trilateral Commission is running the country. I think
CFR.
I think the same people
control it.
The same people that run the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Trilateral.
Those are just front groups.
Sure. I mean, they're just
meeting houses.
They're organizations through which they implement their power, and it's an international group that maintains power through the multinational corporations and the media and all the rest.
Yes, sir. And wouldn't you say that now what you have is corporate socialism for them and slavery for us?
Well, you've got corporate wealth for them. They don't.
It's called stealing.
It could be called stealing, although it's stealing on such a grand scale that you'd have to call it grand larceny, I think.
Sir, hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I had a comment about the David Koresh stuff that you was talking about. I had an uncle that was there. He was one of the DPS officers, and I don't see how you can glorify David Koresh and blame the government whenever they're the ones. Then David Koresh has got these weak-minded fools sitting there, got them brainwashed, and telling them, you know, God's coming and the government's the enemy. You know, we got to kill them. They're the ones that fired the first shots. They were just reacting.
Well, I appreciate that, and for anybody else that wants this recurring view, there's a made-for-TV movie made before the siege even ended that is airing up to 10 times a week on Court TV, and it's aired on ABC as well. And the director of that film has apologized 2 years ago to the Waco survivors in front of a crowd of about 300 people. You have an uncle that's into DPS. Well, I challenge people to stop and talk to DPS wherever they want, at movie theaters or on the side of the road or at the street like I've done, and they know, and you know who the DPS get their investigative information from. They're called the Texas Rangers. And if you know how to type into a computer dps.org, you can go read the Texas Ranger report where they talk about the feds firing first, where they talk about shaped charges being placed by Delta Force on top the bunker inside to kill the men, women, and children. And on my side, I have actual photos, and so do the DPS, of the shaped charge hole blown in the top. I'm sure you thought that Oklahoma City was, well, the people they told you it was. I suppose you think Hitler didn't burn the Reichstag. You probably don't even know what the Reichstag is. And I personally just can't deal with you, sir. But don't worry, they're dead now. The kids are dead. Delta did their job. Delta didn't raid South Texas February 8th, February 20th. Why, how could I support L.A. Philippus, who threw him out of San Antonio for attempted bribery of public officials? What about Chief of Police Jack D. Compton in Alice, Texas, talking about foreign troops? I'm just a kook, aren't I? Why, burn them, get them. Are people like that really healthy for America, Alex? Why, we've got those long-bearded people in black outfits that live over there in the ghetto, Hans. I think the Fuhrer knows what he's talking about. Let's go burn them out, too. Yeah, and let's go after MOVE back east. Yeah, that environmental group. Let's burn down a city block and kill them. Yeah, and let's focus our military in with this new U.S. Joint Command. And let's agree with the Army War College. Let's bring in Mexican and Canadian troops to, quote, deal with the terrorists here in America. Washington Post, Toronto Star. Let's bring in the foreign troops. Let's read the defense appropriations bills and hear all about the payment. Let's talk about Clinton shipping Russia military armaments right now and giving China every weapon secret we've got. I love it. And then let's talk about evil, bad people that the government's telling us we should deal with. The communist Chinese raping and killing people in Tibet. Let's talk about the World Bank giving $100+ million to force relocate Tibetans and the forced rape that's going on. That was in the mainstream newspapers, and they're proud of it. What about the organs being taken for political dissidents? What about the infanticide of living, already born children? What about Catholic priests being shot in the head and thrown out on the street? What about Tiananmen Square? What about the top 500 corporate chieftains meeting last week in China to celebrate communism, which is modern slavery, for the elite, by the elite? Get it through your head, fool. You people really anger me, but I want to thank you for calling, because you got me fired up. That is truly sick, sir. The FBI has done nothing but lie this entire time. We have the memos released, confirmed, Freedom of Information Act, even the redacted memos from Delta Force about the April 14th meeting with Reno admit they were there the whole time and admit they talked about violence of action and an arrest situation, not a hostage situation. They went in there and butchered those people. I dare you to put yourself in a room and have CS gas pumped in on you for 6 hours. Dallas Morning News 3 days ago, on Friday, they admitted that when the Davidians would try to come out, they would throw flashbangs at them. Clive Doyle on this program and on my radio show for years, one of the surviving Branch Davidians, has told you they tried to leave, they'd throw flashbangs at them, you idiot! But still, you are cowardly and associate your petty power with Bill Clinton. You associate your petty power with the monolithic elite. You make me sick and you endanger this country. You are evil, sir. Your ignorance has made you evil. You're on the air. Who do you work for, ma'am? The German banks? Doing a good job for them? They're buying everything in the country. Now you're going to saddle us with debt? We're asking you a serious question. You can't suck off the youth of this country anymore. You're destroying this country, Browner, and you know you are. You are annihilating this nation. You are creating massive, out-of-control bureaucracies that are sucking the lifeblood out of this nation. This is not the Soviet model. Why are you engaging in parasitism? Why are you engaging in parasitism, Mrs. Browner? We're asking you a serious question.
Press, ma'am. What, are you against free press, ma'am?
Why won't you answer our questions about how you buy this land and then sell it off to select corporations? Crony capitalism. Crony capitalism. Pardon me, sir. Crony capitalism. Let me tell you something, guys. The Americans are waking up. We're not getting aggressive. This is fraud.
Did you see that?
This is absolute fraud. This is absolute fraud, and you know it. You are engaged in fraud. You cannot rationalize what you're doing. You are engaged in fraud. Fraud.
It's called freedom of press. Go research it.
Are you registered at this conference?
Y'all have no...
Do you understand what free press is, sir? Do you remember the First Amendment?
I sure remember private property.
Okay.
You know, Dale answered my question,
Pay for this
and that's why I was nice to him. But that is fraud right there. In fact, get him, Mike. Absolute, total fraud. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
It's called freedom of press.
They admit it. They sell this land to corporations. This is fascism. Go read it in your Encyclopedia Britannica. You guys sit there and watch that sugar-coated garbage. And to our law enforcement, we know there's a lot of good law enforcement. And you're the secret. You're the key to standing up against the New World Order, also known as globalism. Sir, you let others go farther. I'm telling you, Elshire, I've tried to back down and be nice and just say, well, they're just bureaucrats. But you want to go around and badmouth me on the radio and stuff? I'm going to counter you. This is reality, not conspiracy. It's not funny, Elshire. You do have Y2K and all the rest of it's coming up. I feel sorry for you guys.
Okay, because I'm not going to be out there with the guillotines. Okay? I'm going to be supporting you and defending you. Don't you understand the veneer of civilization is very thin, Elshire? Very, very thin, Elshire. You don't have a mandate. You are a liar. You're lying to the public. It's disgusting. Thank you, Elshire, for subverting the Constitution.
Getting a driver's license caused quite a stinker in Austin today. You know, in Texas, if you want one of these, well, you have to give your thumbprints. But KISJ Carter shows you why some folks today said they don't want anybody scanning their body parts.
Go up, and if they come up and touch me in any way, I'm going to lay down peaceably and let the police state minions drag me away.
Alex Jones wants to renew his driver's license. He also expects to be arrested.
I'm going in there with my passport, my birth certificate, my driver's license, my W-2 form.
But he won't give a thumbprint. Moments after this interview, troopers did arrest him.
If you do not leave now, I will be forced to arrest you. Sir, I'm here to get a driver's license. I have never had a criminal record, and it's time to go.
Jones says fingerprinting gives government too much control. And the next thing you know, they'll ask for urine and blood samples. Rebecca Yoakum walked through the crowd of protesters to renew her license. She didn't mind giving her thumbprint.
I really don't see anything wrong with the thumbprinting, and it's kind of weird how everybody's protesting about it.
But the protesters believe if they don't speak up now, the requirements to drive could get even more personal. With your eye on Austin, I'm Jay Carter.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail, and he'll face a disorderly conduct charge. The DPS points out, by the way, that its database of thumbprints helped identify some of the victims of the tornado in Gerald last year, and they say this system helps and protects all of us.
I'm sorry, sir, you're just flat wrong. This has nothing to do with public safety and everything to do with the international tracking grid that's being set up. All you have to do is watch Lockheed Martin Marietta commercials from the defense industry to Visa commercials. All down the line, they're pushing thumb scanning to buy and sell, and probably within 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to have to do this to buy and sell, and this is all for the IRS to gather intelligence on us. The DPS even admits it. It goes to the federal government. It's all hooked into a national database, and you see the free market supposedly engaged in this. It's all part of a grid of control. And some of you will say, well, what do we have to hide? It's called an invasion of privacy, ladies and gentlemen. It's called innocent until proven guilty. It's called a government that has a terrible track record of abusing its citizens, and the IRS stealing from innocent people that have broken no laws being abused. I'm just so tired of this. Everything under the color of law. This is totally unconstitutional. Now let's get to the actual video of the actual protest.
Blood testing, urine testing, things of that nature. So for those of us that are not in the know, and for those of us who really are not in this, as you are, could you kind of explain what's going on here?
Sir, I have given you the executive order put in the Federal Register by Bill Clinton in 1997. He has announced it. He says that urine and blood testing that they plan to do nationwide is only for people 18 and under. It is for 25% of large state populations, randomly selected, and they're thumb scanning us like criminals. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty?
I heard that. Several forms of identification.
I have 8 forms of identification, from my passport to my old driver's license to my W-2 form, my tax form, to my social security number, to my car insurance, and I also have another picture ID. And that had better be enough for them, ladies and gentlemen. This is really getting out of control. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Why are Americans laying around like sheep and allowing themselves to be treated like criminals? We're law-abiding citizens.
At what point do you expect, or do you expect at all, for what you were talking about, the blood testing, the drug screening? Is that really coming?
Sir, I have given you the federal documents that are mandating the states to do that. Clinton in 92 mandated the thumb scanning. It has been adopted by many of the states, Texas since 93. He mandated it in late 1997 for 98 to be implemented. Now that's up to the states, and that's why we're drawing attention to this. Thumb scanning and no further. I'm against thumb scanning, but now they want this urine and blood testing. This is the slippery slope. And to those out there that say, what do I have to hide? I am innocent until proven guilty. I have no criminal record. Alex Jones has no criminal record, and we should not be treated like criminals.
I don't want to ask what you have to hide, but what is it that makes you so passionate about this?
Our government cannot be trusted. Even this month's, Liberty, even this month's Popular Mechanics talks about the government testing chemicals and biologicals on our people in the 1950s and 60s. The IRS, you've heard the hearings. There's CIA drug trafficking hearings going on right now in the Congress. This is on television. This government is controlled by a bunch of thugs, in my opinion, and I think a lot of bureaucrats are dupes to it. I just don't trust our government. And our founding fathers warned us not to hate our government, but to fear our government. I should not have to thumb scan and be in a computer. They also digitally capture your signature and your photograph. They could create any false identity they wanted to with your name and your social security number. And many government bureaucrats from the IRS to the EPA have been caught selling information. There are thousands of cases and convictions of this if people would just investigate it. This is an invasion of privacy. That's the most important thing. It's an invasion of privacy. There is no innocent until proven guilty in this country anymore, and Americans across the country have got to start standing up against Big Brother. And if they come up and touch me in any way, I'm going to lay down peaceably and let the police state minions drag me away. Okay? Let's get ready to go in here in about 5 minutes. God bless y'all for being here. People stand up. The New World Order, which is transnational, socialism for the rich, can only fail. We're going to defeat these people. We're going to turn their lives upside down on. This federal intrusion is out of control, and it is controlled by the transnational establishment. So it's time for everybody across America to start standing up, because we got people power. Amen. Peaceful patriots or the huge military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about. I think I'm afraid of the military-industrial complex that owns our media. I think I'm afraid of the foreign banks. That's who I'm afraid of, not of you people.
Good luck, sir.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, good.
Hey, Jim. How you doing, Ellinger?
All right, son, we're ready for you.
All right, they're ready for me. Let's go. Come over here and get the pretty little red light. Come on. Isn't that pretty? And they'll put a nice little clinic in here in the next few years for urine and blood testing like Clinton wants. What do I have to hide? I'm a criminal. There we have it. Nice little pretty red light. Get that, Mike. There we have it. Your photograph, they capture your signature, they capture your thumbprint, and now Clinton wants urine and blood, and I've given that to the media, the actual federal register that he wants the states to implement. And I guess it tells them how to put clinics in, and it tells them how to urine and blood test law-abiding citizens not under 18 like the media says.
Hi.
How you doing? I am here with 8 forms of identification. I have my passport. Here's that, my name, and the form you asked me to fill out. I have no criminal record. My name is Alexander Emmerich Jones. Here is my passport. Here is my insurance. Here is another form of ID. Here is my old driver's license. Here is my birth certificate. And here is my W-2 form. And here is 2 more insurance cards, old ones, just so you can double check. It's a health club card.
Plenty of ID.
Okay.
Good to go. We're going to get you duplicate right now.
Need for you to answer these first 3 questions.
Take a look at these questions there and go over them things.
So I don't have to thumb scan?
Well, we're going to get to that. You are eventually going to have to. Yes, sir.
But not now.
Not at this point, but you will before we're done with the process.
Why?
Because it's required.
It's required by Bill Clinton in 1992. And it was instituted here in Texas in 1993. I know the code, sir. Are you going to institute his urine and blood testing when he commands you? Are you going to stick a needle in my arm when I have no criminal record?
The only questions I'm going to answer right now are concerning driver's license issuance.
You just follow orders, don't you? So you're saying you're going to deny me the constitutional right to travel if I do not submit to this digital thumb scanning?
What I will tell you, today you will not receive a duplicate driver's license if you do not submit to a thumbprint.
Okay, look, I feel like I'm being raped here.
Well, I would sit down with you for hours and try to do what I could to help you.
Then just give me my license without digitally thumb scanning.
I am not going to violate DPS policy.
Is there a religious exception?
For your exception.
Is there a religious exception?
No. No, sir, there's not.
Everyone must take the mark. A digitally enhanced mark.
I'm not talking about marks.
A digital tattoo.
I know. Your ID, you are good to go.
Yeah, well, if I'm good to go, why do you need my thumbprint?
Because it's part of the procedure of issuing.
It's part of Bill Clinton's law, isn't it? It's an executive order. It's a decree By Bill Clinton. NCIC. Yeah, and if I drive without a license, what's the penalties for driving without a license?
You know, I don't even want to go there.
That's right.
You know why?
I'm asking you.
It doesn't pertain to it.
You're an officer. I'm asking you the law.
I would be glad to sit down.
So you're saying I'll be committing a crime by driving if I don't take your mark?
I would be glad to do anything I can to help you, sir.
Well, see, you're saying...
I'm not against you, and I understand.
Officer Ard, you're sitting here, Sergeant, and telling me that you're all friendly and you're all nice. But I'll be pulled over and given tickets. If I don't pay those, I will go to jail because of my morals and my beliefs. I will not take this. And I'm here to tell you, I already took this in '93, and many people will say, well, you've already taken it. What's your problem with it? Because now I figured out what this is, and I'm opposing all those others that are being herded in here like cattle to be thumb scanned like criminals.
Jones?
Yes.
We don't even need to start there. If I know that you're not going to submit to a thumbprint, why waste your time?
See, right up front. They will drop, and people are being turned away all day here. So you're saying I pay my taxes, I'm raped by the IRS, which is criminal. You know, it's well known.
And you heard the key word submit.
Submit. He just said I must submit.
There's a lady down the counter.
I'm telling you, I've never been to jail.
I don't know. What do you want me to do for you?
I want you to give me my driver's license. I want my driver's license. I am not a criminal. I may become one today, but that's fine. You're saying you won't take me to jail at 5 if I'm still here.
No, we're not going to take you to jail.
Oh, yeah. This is against the grain of the Constitution. Look, if I don't take the mark, my right to travel is taken. You're taking my rights and telling me that it's no big deal? And now you want a urine and blood test. Bring me the document. Who has the urine and blood testing document? I need it. I'm going to pass these out to people. Ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Register, Bill Clinton, urine and blood testing plan for you. Tell your friends about it. We have got to stand against this. The states are preparing to implement this plan. This is not a joke. This is not the entire document. It gets worse. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a joke to them. Only Coach Penders matters. Only diversions like Rome, the gladiators. If I don't take this, will I not be penalized for not having a driver's license, by not being able to cash a check, by being given tickets that if I don't pay those tickets, I'll be taken to jail. I can't travel out of state. I can't get on board an airplane. And the media is talking about thumb scanning to travel. You're working with the foreign banks and the military-industrial complex. This is all their idea. Read the Military War College from 1968. They planned this. And just because you lay around doesn't mean it's not true. This is not a publicity stunt. I was a lot happier years ago before I got into all this garbage. I'm sick of sheep laying down. I wish you'd get up and do something. Makes me want to vomit. Our forefathers went to World War II and World War I and fought in the Civil War to end slavery, and it means nothing to y'all. We're a bunch of yellow-belly weaklings. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people laying down like a bunch of jellyfish and rationalizing what's going on. People ought to be ashamed of themselves.
My brother's a cop. Gold star in the arm and be quiet.
Yes, exactly.
Now look very carefully at Mike Cox. He is head public information officer for all of Texas for the DPS. They weren't going to arrest me, but about 15 minutes into the protest, he showed up and things changed dramatically. He walked up, stared at me, turned, walked back to the back. They had a little meeting together, and then they came and arrested me.
If you do not leave now, I will be forced to arrest you.
Sir, I'm here to get a driver's license. I have never had a criminal record. It's time to go. Here I go. Get my stuff for me.
45 patients.
Yes, sir.
Good job. I guess that makes you a mercenary, huh? Paid mercenaries, huh? Got black gloves on. Yeah, he's got his black gloves on. I guess that makes him tough. I guess that makes him look like a real well-paid mercenary there. Well, he has to do a show tonight. Hey! Yeah, they're pushing everybody. They're pushing us. It's getting ridiculous here.
All my tax dollars pay for this building.
Yeah, he's got a couple of tags.
The DPS was very professional, but they did the classic bait and switch. They got all the troopers on one side of the building and made us think that I was coming out there.
Criminal! Look at all this!
I hope we've painted you a picture of what's really happening here in the nation. I got out of jail that night with a Class C misdemeanor, and I'm taking it to court, and I'm sure I'll defeat it with a jury trial. It was a small price to pay, though, to bring light upon the biometric technologies.
This is an incredibly elaborate setup here where they've shut down most of the lanes.
Checkpoint ahead. Major fuel fare.
Caution, reduced speed, checkpoint ahead. A major thoroughfare like I-35, the major corridor right through Texas, north to south, and we've got a huge checkpoint shutting down the southbound lane. This is all federal funding. We are entering the eye of the checkpoint. Caution, reduce speed, checkpoint ahead. Isn't that loving, children? Got a nice big generator running that. Oh, the courtesy patrol's out, Texas Department of Public Safety. That truck back there said courtesy patrol. Well, there's the command unit over there. Nice big Winnebago. Shining their lights in people's face. Slow down, Jimmy. Go real slow through here. Real slow. Turn, Mike. Hello, Waffen SS.
I would have said that, Alex.
Get it on.
I got it.
Get the searchlights.
Yeah, roll, my friend.
Jawohl! Now we're going to go back through the gauntlet, and we've got them just pulling them back, pulling them off down there, pulling them off here, all part of Bill Clinton's funding, and they love it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is America for you. Giant checkpoints, and they're pulling people over right here in front of us. We're going back through the gauntlet, my friends. We're exiting, we're turning around, we're going down the access road this time. There's another one right there. A little too fast.
Boy, look at the traffic they got backed up, Alex. Just look at it.
Hey, are y'all MJTF? Is this an MJTF operation?
Actually, we're
off the street.
We're Serbian soldiers over here in the United States taking over.
Clint, do you even know where this funding comes from?
To be honest with you, I'm so local, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I've been researching this for 8 years. I've been laughed at. Now I'm on the front page of the Statesman. This stuff is real, sir. And y'all can rationalize what you're doing. There'll be more decisions for you in the future. Just came back from California where they're building the concentration camps. My friends, we stand at the threshold. What you're seeing here is federal funding, $2.4 billion, signed by Bill Clinton 4 months ago. It's expanding nationwide. Under Bill Clinton's National Seatbelt Use Initiative, they're going to be searching vehicles for any other parameter reasons, and the mainstream media will say it's for stolen cars or seatbelt use to guarantee your safety. The federal government's already destroyed federal buildings. The Delta Force has ransacked 6 different Texas towns. Chief Ali Philippus threw out the Delta Force back in May. We covered that for you for the attempted bribery. We also got it in the Associated Press. And of course, 2 dear officers over here, just average Americans, who are not very deep, I guess, in their understanding of history, scoff at the reams of data and evidence of what's happening. And of course, I'm speaking loud for them to hear as well. This is the police state, America. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We've been treated to Waco the rules of engagement. The FBI's own footage as they machine gun men, women, and children. We've been treated to the armored personnel carriers being delivered to all your police departments. We've been treated to the scores of federal programs, hate crimes legislation. This is the ninth circle of hell in America, just preparing to be expanded. Yeah, well, we're just curious about the different details of this multi-jurisdictional task force operation here, or is this just an Austin operation?
Lieutenant Crawford charging.
Where is he?
We're around here.
We can talk to him for like 2 minutes.
He's way back by your van, and I'll
Okay. How many people have y'all apprehended? I tell you, this is it, guys. They're laughing. Get shots up. They're over there laughing about the death of this country. Look at them. Over there laughing about the death of our nation.
I got it.
Over there thinking it's funny. You guys want to clean the drugs off the street, go after the CIA. You guys want to clean the drugs off the street, go after the government. Complete cowards. Going along to get along. That is shameful right here in Texas. Well, here they are selling America out for 20 pieces of silver for their $30,000, $40,000 a year in their pensions. Selling us down the river, taking the federal funds, pulling people over randomly. It is a complete, total travesty. And you know it is. My God. See this type thing happening, to see this going on. Look, as soon as we got here, they're waving people through a little quicker. That go along with it, we're going to have to face. I'm saying the police out there, the good police, you better stand up with us. I know you will. This is a travesty. Total and complete, unprecedented travesty right here in the capital city of Austin, Texas. Well, I'm the two-headed radio talk show host, and Alex Jones. How you doing? Okay. What's your name, sir? Shane. This is night vision camera. Sir, this is reminiscent of Nazi Germany.
I'll get somebody to talk to you about that. People are on the left.
Well, they were telling us the person in charge would come.
I'll get him.
Okay.
Look left. Left. Where?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the pack mentality. Yes. Yes. Deal with it. Nice crew cut. Why don't you fight for America? We've been asking for an interview for 30, 40 minutes, and they're just standing over there. And the head guy walked over and then ran off when I talked about how they're a bunch of Nazis. I didn't call them Nazis. I just said it was Nazi-like activity. Nazi-like activity.
Auto theft checkpoint.
Auto theft checkpoint. I heard about something about seatbelt checkpoints, a federal program.
I don't know. That's all they told us.
Have you heard about a federal program for seatbelt checks?
No.
Doesn't this kind of seem like Nazi Germany to you? I mean, aren't we innocent until proven guilty instead of guilty until proven innocent?
I couldn't talk with you about this, sir. I'm just out there doing my job.
It's just your job?
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, you know who else said that?
Who said that?
Well, at Nuremberg.
Okay. They just really need us to take a break.
All right, thanks. What you guys doing? What's going on?
Not much.
Alex Jones.
Where you at?
Oh, I just got a radio talk show. We're just having fun with our video camera.
Oh, okay.
Guys, I know there's a lot of criminals out there, but we all know the government brings most of the drugs in. Of course, this is a stolen vehicle checkpoint, but man, all these federal funds coming in for this. I thought in America we're innocent until proven guilty. Are we innocent until proven guilty?
Are you guilty or something?
No, I'm not guilty of anything.
Oh, I thought you were asking me, were you innocent to prove guilty?
But I mean, aren't we all supposed, in this country, in other countries like Germany under Hitler it wasn't that way, or under Stalin it wasn't that way, but here in America, aren't we supposed to be innocent until proven guilty?
That's true.
That's true. There you go. Talk to us. Well, I mean, I don't hate police or anything, but at the same time, you got to wonder, this is happening all over the country now because the federal funds that are flowing. I mean, isn't that interesting?
You talking to the wrong person.
Talking to the wrong person?
You talking to the wrong person, brother.
Gentlemen, what's y'all's names? I'm just curious.
My name's
Johnson. How you doing, sir? Good to talk to you. Y'all like the sedan?
Oh, that's all right.
What color is it? Maroon, huh? What do y'all call these units? I see a lot of these around town. Just an unmarked police unit. Y'all still do old-fashioned things like prostitution and narcotics?
Yeah.
Or is it mainly, is this y'all's first checkpoint down here?
First one.
Did they call y'all in and tell you the procedure?
As far as what?
Well, basically, how do they pick people out of the crowd to pull over? That's what we're curious.
I don't know. If you go down right over there and talk to one of them supervisors, they can tell you everything about it.
They're busy, huh? They didn't tell y'all basically they just called y'all and tell y'all who to pull over?
No. You go right over there and talk to the supervisor, they'll tell you all about it. I'm just out here doing my job, brother.
Okay.
They can tell you all the procedures. When they put it together, we did.
You guys are just doing your jobs?
Right.
All right. Well, I'm not attacking y'all.
Okay.
But hey, think about this. There may come a time when you see some things on television that are manufactured by the government. They're asking y'all to do some things that don't really sound right, but in the rush of everything, everybody working together, feeling like y'all are part of a team, going along with some things that aren't good. And, well, just the whole thing's accelerating. Well, that's the guy driving us. There's a lot of things accelerating in the world today that aren't too nice. And, now would you guys, if ordered to do so, would y'all confiscate guns from law-abiding citizens or go house to house?
Who would order you to do something that's against the law?
It's against the law. They're talking about changing that.
Well, I mean, if they change the law, that's what the law says.
How do they change the law without changing the Constitution?
I don't know. You gotta go talk to Congress about that one.
Well, yeah, the president uses those executive orders. Well, guys, there'll be some interesting times ahead for everybody. I never thought this, but I am starting to really figure things out after being involved and trying to think about this for 8 years. I went out and visited some of the new concentration camps building out in California for black folks, for white folks, now everybody else. They've reopened the one that held the Japanese at Manizar. And once they trigger off something in the inner cities as they're planning, once they trigger it off and try to blame it on the black folks, get all the racist white folks in on the game, they can round up everybody pretty soon once they get the system rolling. You know, when I was talking to Tony Brown on my radio show a few months ago, national PBS news, he said, what you see being tested in the black community and the other communities, oh, it's coming to everybody's community soon. They tested this out in the black community years ago, violating people's rights, getting the police used to it, getting everybody used to it, thinking it's good. I assure you, it's not good. I guess he got tired of hearing it.
That's it. I can speak for myself.
All right. Well, sir, we do appreciate it.
No problem. Nice meeting you.
How much longer we got? Not long if these police are such cowards and keep keying down on radios because they don't want to hear the truth like little junior high kids. It's them laughing. Hey, let me tell you something, police. I'm not afraid of you. You're a bunch of criminals. You're a bunch of weaklings. I'm ashamed to be a part of this country because of people like you. That's the police. Well, have fun, police. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm privy to this secret information, and they're going to give them code words and names and case officers in their area they're going to be working with. And no matter what happens with Y2K, these relationships are being forged. We're just good Americans dealing with the threats of the militias. While everybody knows the police are going to be under attack, well, damn right, when Clinton's controllers activate some black ops squad to blow the hell out of your federal buildings, you idiots. That'll get you morons galvanized like a pack of idiots running out the front door to round people up. You make me want to vomit. And I will defend my family, you idiots. I am so angry at your ignorance. I am so angry at your lack of vision and understanding, you idiots. On the night of February 8th, 1999, right after my radio show, I got the word the Delta Force had smashed into the first of 6 towns, Kingsville, Texas. We got in the car, drove through the night to the South Texas coast, right in the middle of Texas oil country. It was incredibly surreal. What'd you see? What'd you hear?
Well, they were throwing some bombs, you know, bombing. Right. Yeah, and some. I think they were using some rifles too, and the other kind of rifles, you know, the one using stuff like that.
Looking out your window and seeing unmarked helicopters and troops dressed in ninja black suits with assault rifles, it's kind of spooky.
You never know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Perhaps they wanted everything left intact, so their training and their psychological test would be pulled off a little bit cleaner and smoother. Again, you decide. See, y'all are just painting over the black burn marks? Mm-hmm. Delta Force munitions, a solid ceramic slug used to blast open doors. So the jackbooted thugs don't even have to hurt their feet anymore.
I'm the lieutenant in charge of the patrol division.
Oh, fantastic. We're told that
Monday evening of this week, there was a Delta Force operation from Fort Bragg, otherwise known as Army Special Operations Command. Can you tell us how many helicopters were involved?
I can tell you that Monday night there was a joint training session between the United States Army and the Kingsville Police Department. The Army was doing some sort of extraction type thing. They used 8 helicopters. Our training involved sealing off the area as if we were involved in taking care of a hazardous materials incident. So we were rerouting traffic and making sure that there was no civilian foot traffic in the area. So we got quite a bit of training in that area.
Did any of your SWAT team, or I see you have 2 officers look like they're SWAT trained, did they assist the Delta Force in any way?
The only participation on the part of the Kingsville Police Department was in a hazardous materials training session. We did not participate in any way with what the Army was doing.
Well, that's very helpful. We're also told that they were firing ceramic bullets.
I have no idea about anything that the Army was doing. It would be a situation in which you would need to contact them.
Well, yes, in Fort Bragg. Now, the mayor had stated, or his office had stated, that it was secret, but what y'all are saying is it was secret up to a point, and then the police department went around and actually warned the citizens in the immediate area downtown.
I have no idea where the word secret came from, and I'm not going to respond to that.
But who are the terrorists? It's certainly not Bill Clinton giving all of our nuclear weapons designs and enabling systems to the Chi-Coms. No. It's people like the Davidians or Randy and Vicki Weaver at Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Yeah, we're the terrorist. We're the danger. We're the threat because we won't submit to total domination, total control, total slavery. Waco is a sterling example of this, the lies and corruption that were evidenced during their activities. Oh, but I forgot. We had to save the children. That's why we burned the 17 little children to death. Again, to save them from the terrorist, the deadly, dangerous terrorist, their parents.
Can you tell us some of the, not necessarily some of the specifics, but some of just certain reasons why they need these trainings so specialized, and what exactly the qualifications are that they need to train so much?
In the event of any terrorist activity, these are going to be the men that address it. And they need to keep their skills honed to a razor's edge. They have to. And they don't have time, the luxury of time to plan an operation and go in. Can't plan it forever. They've got to make a move and make it fast. And, so time is of the essence, and having their skills up to a high level is very important. But these are the people that you're going to call on for any terrorist activities.
Well, yes, these are the people we're going to call on for terrorist activities. Delta Force, BATF, FBI, hostage rescue teams. They're training on military bases as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. They trained back in '93 before the assault on the Waco church. That's right, it's not a compound. We need to get our priorities straight in this country and worry about our real national security risk, the real threats to our nation, like Bill Clinton, and the already forming global government that controls him. That's the crisis. That's the threat. Not our nation's people. Not American.
These pieces of equipment were unarmed, as I understand it, and were contracted. I mean, it was like a good rent-a-car. They were
a good rent-a-car? A tank going into a building?
Quite a specimen, I tell you. I just, in all my years involved with SWAT, I've never seen a gentleman like this that I've learned so much from in just the short time I've been around him. It's just awesome is about the only word to describe him.
Honed to a fine edge, honed to kill.
I don't know about honed to kill, but you're definitely honed to be a big creep, a big wimp. You falsified warrants, you did everything, didn't you? Because you wanted to get money for the BATF and the FBI. Y'all were coming up for review. And it's sick, impotent people like you, sir, that give law enforcement a bad name.
93, the standoff between federal agents and Branch Davidians lasts 51 days. Then David Koresh's Waco compound goes up in a ball of flames. After years of denial, the FBI has finally admitted it used flammable devices that final day. Still, burning questions remain, so the government has launched a full-blown investigation. Now, surviving Branch Davidians are breaking their silence, accusing the government of murder and cover-up. Phil Schuman has this extra exclusive.
It's the fire that won't go out.
Well, we didn't start it. There was no way we would have ever committed any kind of suicide.
Now, after smoldering for more than 6 years, the ashes of Waco have suddenly reignited.
These men that from the government, they want to keep everything hidden.
But this time, it's besieged feds who are taking the heat and surviving Branch Davidians who are fanning the flames of an explosive scandal. Did federal agents deliberately start the deadly inferno?
I blame them for murder. I blame them for all that happened.
The road that leads back to the doomed Branch Davidian complex in Waco, Texas is strewn with bodies, cover-ups, and conspiracy theories. The government has always insisted Davidian leader David Koresh lit the infamous fire that killed some 80 men, women, and children on April 19, 1993. But in a startling development, the FBI now admits it lied about what really happened. Investigators have seized FBI videotape that proves highly flammable tear gas canisters were used in the final hours of the 51-day Waco siege.
I think there's an opening there that you may be able to shoot through a doorway.
Now, tall weeds, trash, bulldozed rubble are largely all that remains of the Branch Davidian complex where Koresh and his followers died in that horrible inferno. There are headstones honoring the fallen, charred shells of Davidian buses, and an old Airstream trailer crushed by government tanks. And here in these desolate killing fields, I would discover living testimony that may help unravel the mystery of Waco.
They systematically took it in turns, not only to spray the gas, but to demolish the building.
Clive Doyle is one of only 9 Davidians who got out of the blaze alive. Incredibly, he's actually back living on that same property in this mobile home, keeping the memory of Koresh and his doomed flock alive. Why stay? Why be so close to a reminder of what happened?
Because we believe it's God's turf, you know. I mean, I think it's worth fighting for.
Doyle managed to escape the burning compound through a hole in a wall just as it burst into flames.
And I'm looking down at the building, I see this big ball of flame go up like an explosion. And I wrote everybody else off.
Tragically, Clive's 18-year-old daughter, Sherry, did not make it out. Despite these revelations about the use of flammable tear gas canisters, the Attorney General this week still insisted the FBI did not start the fire.
That fire was set by David Koresh and the people in that building.
But Clive Doyle and other surviving Davidians flatly deny that and say nobody should believe the government.
It seems like their initial reaction is to lie first, and you only admit that you're lying if you get caught.
Such a beautiful girl.
While Clive Doyle simmers, fellow Davidian Sheila Martin suffers. She lost her husband and 4 of her children in that Holocaust.
It was just too much to think that they had gone like that. They were smart children and they were trying to be good.
Sheila had surrendered to the FBI weeks earlier on the promise that her family would also be allowed to leave safely.
My children stayed and my husband stayed because they believed these men outside.
I call it murder. That's what I call it.
Catherine Madison also escaped the Davidian complex before the fiery finale of death and destruction. She, like the others, claimed the government deliberately set the blaze. What was the reason for the fire?
When they saw we weren't going to give in, they had to get rid of us. They had to get rid of us. They had to cover up everything that had happened.
There's always new federal lies that we are forced to counter here.
Texas talk radio personality Alex Jones has been crying murder and cover-up from day one of the Waco horror.
These are thugs who wanted to engage in terrorism against the American people. And I say their terrorism has failed, and this horrendous lie is starting to unravel.
The surviving Davidians say the same thing.
That's what they do for a job, is they lie.
When I tell what I tell, I'm telling the truth. And if people accept it, fine.
We just believe that God would not let the truth be hidden.
And Waco keeps burning.
And just today, several federal prosecutors in Texas have been relieved from the case, including one who had complained of, quote, a possible government cover-up.
Really relished firing me from whatever pressure they received, because I wouldn't stop talking about Reno and Waco. And it's funny that I'm on in big cities like Buffalo, New York, Rochester, Chicago. I'm on a station that goes into Los Angeles a little bit, out of Burbank. I'm on huge, I'll tell you, the biggest station I get the biggest response of is Knoxville, Tennessee, WHJM. 60 plus stations now. Just 2 weeks ago, it wasn't that many. Picked up 15 more stations. You're not going to stop me unless you put a bullet in my head. I don't care. Rock and roll, baby, because I'm not afraid. You understand? I'm not afraid. I'm never going to stop. Never. I'm going to continue to expose you. Texas. I'm Alex Jones. I'm a syndicated radio talk show host, but I came here as a private citizen, member of the corporation here in the U.S. to ask you 2 quick questions. Number one, over 4 years ago, I was interviewing former and current CIA officials about the Delta Force murdering people in Waco. They were extremely concerned. That's now been borne out in the Dallas Morning News and other publications. When are you finally going to come clean about the mass murder and using high-level special operations killers to kill Americans for publicity? And number 2, finally, we know, well, I'll just ask both questions and I'll shut up and sit down. It's serious. I'd like you to answer both these, please. These are very important. Number 1, about the Delta Force. Number 2, Senator John Danforth, your special counsel. How can he be independent, as you and others have said, when he is appointed by you to investigate you? That's the questions. Thank you. Yes, the names are shouting down.
With respect to your first question, I will continue to try to provide every bit of information that I can in every appropriate form that I can. And I have no information concerning the specifics of your comment. With respect to your second question, what I have tried to do is to make sure that I chose somebody of impeccable reputation who has total independence as far as I'm concerned. And I have refused myself consideration, so I can try to address both concerns.
I associate my power with you, Reno. Kill him, kill him, kill him.
And committing burglaries, out of theft, and just breaking into people's homes, or just less than that much more.
It's a project that was started by Austin radio talk show host Alex Jones.
We're going to build this church back. I've talked to Surviving Branch Davidians, and they concur with my idea to have it a church and at the same time a memorial and a museum for what happened right here on this very ground in 1993.
This is the real deal. This is human history. This is not some foggy conspiracy theory. I have to tell you, 4 years ago, I thought what happened at Waco was wrong. But I believed a little bit of the propaganda. I thought, well, you know, this and that. And the more I studied this, the more I found out it's worse than even what Waco Rules of Engagement or Day 51 had to offer. And that's why I'm glad that they're coming out with a new documentary, because this is what it's going to take. It's going to take information to the public. Information is power. So stop reacting and start acting and stand up against this police state, or we're going into 100% taxation, 100% tyranny. And just because it's packaged sweetly and has a nice, flashy exterior, the interior is barbed wire and pure slavery. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks, Alan.
And I understand that the ATF needs more funding for Comrade Clinton and the Clintonistas. We understand this. And we understand that we have the footage of y'all loading up the cameras and going out to kill a bunch of kooks. And I'm sad that some of your agents got injured and killed. And I'm not going to sit around and make threats. When it comes time for me to leave my parents and my girlfriend and my life, I will for my country. And I really don't want to die because I really don't want to die because I love this country. But if I have to die for my country, I will. And I think I can see that little gleam in your eye. You would almost laugh when you would say, I can't
talk about that, or I have no idea about that. Okay. You, sir, look like a gangster. You look like a criminal. You reek of it, sir.
We didn't bring him here to calm down.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Well, yeah.
Don't do anything personal.
No, it's not personal.
It is personal.
It's the huge.
Keep it to the facts.
It's the huge steel fist. This is why I don't come here. I never will come again. But this is what it comes down to. I had to come and talk to you and tell you that I've read the Constitution. I know what's going on in the country. I know about Rex 84. I know about FEMA. I've been around at the national parks. I've seen the executive orders. I know what's going on in this country. From Oklahoma City, the World Trade Center bombing, the October 29th, New York Times 28th even admits it, got a copy of it in my car, that the BATF and the FBI helped the terrorists cook the bombs. Andre Strassmeyer, the Air and Republican Army, Carol Howe warned the FBI and the BATF. And it doesn't matter. Y'all stir up these hornets' nests to have media events to scare the sheep. And frankly, it's sick and it's sad. And it is the nature of power. That's all you are, is a Roman centurion and all the rest of your type. And I know there's a lot of good people that have left your agencies and have left all the apparatus of control. I want to know why you haven't seen Waco Rules of Engagement and why you won't comment. And you said you were 1,100 yards away from the back of the building where all the automatic weapons fire was coming from. You saw it. Sir, there's footage of it. There's tape of it. You want me to give you one of the tapes?
Yeah, I have to.
Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps you're not a criminal.
Alex, let him
Perhaps you're just
answer.
power hungry.
No.
Let him respond.
I have to say there was no automatic weapon fire coming from the back of the building. I'd like to see the tapes. I haven't seen those.
Well, they got them at the video store. Or why don't you call C-SPAN and get a copy from them?
Okay, I'll do that.
They aired it on TV, and that's how controlled our press is.
Okay.
You scare me. Seeing our local police training with you guys with black ski masks, and we've gone up from 390,000 police officers to 490,000 police officers, and they're building helicopter bases here in Travis County. Damn it! We've been sucked off for so long. We're 62% in some form of tax. We just wallow around and beg like a bunch of little pigs at your feet, and it isn't good enough because you're insecure, and deep down inside you can make the rationales all day. We're self-righteous. We're doing what's right. I'm nonviolent to the end, defending my country from what's coming. And we see it building up. We see it preparing while President Clinton wallows over in China. So to you, you have no soul if you do not come to grips with what really happened in Waco, because you obviously won't even comment on all the missing evidence and on everything else that is happening. The front door to the flare footage, and then to Oklahoma City with the seismographs and General Park. And it's so much. There's so much going on. So much evil. So much tyranny. So much barbarism. What do you think when you walk into your office and there's all these little fleets of minions? It's sad to me. They need to go work for the mob or something. At least there, they can sleep with themselves at night. They're not acting like they're not criminals.
Imagine Marines in your backyard, in your front yard, walking down your streets in the middle of the night. Well, you're a patriot, aren't you? Well, I certainly am, but this is a deadly, dangerous precedent that's being set. They're brainwashing our military. Now, if they had nothing to hide, I'm a little confused by their actions. The police began to get more and more aggressive as the night wore on, simply because this average Joe Q citizen was trying to catch some videotape of the bizarre activities.
Oh, nothing. I just said I didn't have it on then anyway. I was talking to you. I didn't have it on.
There, they can sleep with themselves at night. They're not acting like they're not criminals.
Imagine Marines in your backyard.
What's that?
It's a good evening. How you doing, that, sir?
Very good. Yourself? How you doing? Not bad. Were you the same guy that was here earlier?
Lesson number 1, never turn off the video camera even though you feel intimidated. I've seen this, I can't tell you how many times. Sheldon, the amateur cameraman, turned off his camera when confronted by the sheriff's deputy. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, look right there on your screen right before he turned the camera off. A Marine with a fully automatic weapon. The point is, you see the relationship building here. Sheriff's deputy and military officer. Now, let's try to figure this out. just for a second, are they going to load our police up with our Marines on C-130s and fly them overseas? Just a question I have.
Where are you going, man? Where am I going? Hey, come here, man. What do you want? About what? About your activity. What's my activity? What's wrong? Well, I'm doing something.
I'm doing something too. I need to talk to you. Come on over here. I'm doing my job.
Why are they around my truck?
I'm not going to bother you.
Well, what do you want? Have I done it? All right, sure.
Video camera off.
Okay. What do you want? What is your point?
The video.
Well, that's America. You just saw the camera shut off. He was told if he did any more videotaping, he'd be going to jail. And there's the police officer that told him to turn his camera off, getting multiple visitations for walking down one of the main streets of Hebron, Maryland, in the state where Sheldon Green lives. I've gotten a chance to get to know Sheldon long distance since I got this tape almost a year ago. He's a great guy, being treated like a criminal for only asking questions and videotaping the urban warfare training and disarmament scenario. Turn your camera off while the Marines check out your truck. Right there in black and white night vision video for you.
Here we are. Here we are knocking on the controlled media window. It's only 6:45. It's only 6:45. We have some questions for the media. Use your bullhorn. We have some questions about the mainstream media and about Chiapas and the huge war that's going on down there. We have some questions about Waco and Waco rules of engagement. Why haven't you talked about it, media? We have some serious questions. There's footage of the feds shooting people with their own cameras. There's footage of this. We need you to answer these questions. It's not a joke. This isn't a publicity stunt. We need answers. We need answers. There's a huge war in southern Mexico. There's a huge war in southern Mexico. Sir, there's a huge... Sir, there's a huge war in southern Mexico. Don't you care? It's been going on for 3 years. Don't you care? Is it funny? We got what we needed. That's what we needed. Hey, we're leaving. We're leaving. You can call him. We're going out here. Oh, look, he smugly sits there and makes a face. It's not funny. It's not funny at all, slave master.
And said, if we don't like your speech, you're going to jail. And you're actually going to hear the audio from that. It's kind of at a distance and not very easy to pick up, but you'll be able to hear it. That's coming up in just a second. So they called the SWAT team out. That was an abuse of power. You don't call out special weapons and tactics, SWAT, for people with no criminal records who come to the public meeting that is held every Tuesday during citizens communication at the Commissioner's Court. Then when he saw the camera, he got up and got a distance away and started reading me the Riot Act, and you'll actually hear some excerpts from me kind of arguing and debating with him and telling him he really has no right to be in there, telling me not to watch my speech. Yeah, here is him talking to me. This supposedly didn't happen. There was supposedly not even SWAT team there. That's what the commissioners say, and that's what the media says. I guess they weren't there, were they?
Any verbal utterance that you deem bad, I might say that this is out of control or parental rights are being taken away. This is one of those new laws, I think.
I never had anything against police officers, but this guy's special weapons and tactics, and I guess I'm the enemy. I'm coming to speak against his bureaucrats. How dare I? Speaks for you, doesn't it? Proves you wrong. It proves the media wrong. It's in your face. Now let's get to their lies and make them look like absolute liars and fools and bureaucrats that they are.
While we were trying to clear up some things in terms of Judge Elshire was trying to get something clear about what was happening here a couple of weeks ago, I actually watched Mr. Jones's program that night, so you did pick up a viewer. And they were showing video of Commissioner Moore and I discussing with a lieutenant from the Travis County Sheriff's Office up front, and the video was being shown of us talking with that officer, and the play-by-play was something something to the effect of us ordering in our SWAT officers, and that we were laughing and joking and pointing out specific people in the audience in terms of referring to Mr. Jones and some of the others.
Why were they here?
I didn't order them there.
Somebody had to order them to be here. They don't just come here. They're on a payroll. Somebody ordered them to be here.
Well, it wasn't for me, and I wasn't discussing with my SWAT officers conspiracy theories about what Margaret and I
don't
were
want
up
to be
to. It was
rude,
like,
but Mr. Jones's show
believe it or not, we actually weren't discussing you all.
Mr. Jones's show is a call-in show. You can take issues up with Alex Jones, with him personally.
Would you finish your testimony?
I don't want to get involved in the pettiness of things like that because it's petty, quite frankly. We're talking
it was
about
pretty
children,
petty in terms of
and
us
we're talking
being
about
accused of
intimidation.
conspiracy theories.
Well, this isn't the appropriate forum for your problems, personal problems with Alex Jones.
I don't have a personal problem.
It sounds like it.
Well, let me show you a couple more pictures. Well, there's another conspiracy, another hallucination, another delusion of Alex Jones and associates, Texans for Freedom, evil people like that. There's another pipe dream.
I'm a local tax collector, period.
You're the local tax collector. How do you sleep at night?
Very well, thank you.
You sleep very well knowing the families you've wrecked.
We've not wrecked any families. We've not taken any homes.
You've not taken any homes. You're saying the county's never taken any homes.
I didn't say never.
Oh, you said we haven't taken any homes?
I'm not aware of it.
I've seen y'all listing the homes that have been taken. I've been mailed things in the mail about auctions and homes that are being sold by the hundreds.
Those are not necessarily people's homes where people are living.
What do you mean?
There are lots of vacant lots.
No.
They're vacant lots.
I've seen you. This lady right here, she's having her house stolen.
Well,
on the county.
Take it up with someone else.
She has. She's here every week. Every week. Okay, last question. You say that you're not selling people's homes. You show the foreclosed homes on TV that you're taking. You've shown them on TV.
You're trying to steal my home now, ma'am.
On Channel 17. What about my cameraman? You're trying to steal his house.
Well, he can come to the office and we'll talk about
He can come to the office? Ma'am, hey, we're not some type of evil people. Ma'am, and you said that we're a bunch of conspiracy theorists, Sheriff. You know these helicopters are being used, Sheriff. These helicopters are being used for surveillance. You know they're putting flare on them. You admitted it.
Yes, they're putting flare on.
What about the feds? We stopped the Delta Force. What about the Delta Force, Sheriff?
I'd ask you to get the microphone out of my face.
You want the microphone out of your face? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for trying to report the news. I mean, it is... Oh, but Bush will save us from that wicked Clinton, and it's just the same, same system, the other side of the coin. Oh, you want this? Oh, that'll fix it. Oh, you want that? Oh, you really taught us this time. This whole phony world, they got us all involved in theater. The king has no clothes, but we don't care. Do you even know what that parable is, that fable? I don't know. Do we have any education? Do we have anything in the world, or is it all, I'm a member of the establishment. How dare you? How dare you, Mr. Jones? I'm a professor. Yeah, well, we're winning over the professors at the University of Texas. Their engineering department has come out against the New World Order and the Federal Reserve and the CFR, and more people are. And we're going to win, because some of us have honor, and we know there are heroes left, and we know it's instinctive. I'm telling you, it is ingrained. That's what instincts are. They are ancestral memories. And I have this memory of fighting and freedom and dying and slaving and sacrificing my life. And I'm not talking about, I don't believe in reincarnation. I'm talking about the instincts. The instincts to fight for your people. To fight for the human race against tyranny, against our own race, looking to pin us and enslave us like all of history. And there's nothing wrong with it. And we've got to do it. It's a struggle for everything. All the cards are on the table. And you know it's true. And you know you've got to do it. We watch our military and our police being merged together. And some of you that hate the military and the police are, yeah, Alex, yeah. But you shouldn't hate them. You shouldn't even fear them. They don't know what they're doing. They're in a system. And then they think you're against them and you're against law enforcement. You're against this or that. No, we're just against criminal law enforcement like it is in Mexico or Russia. They're merging them. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't make it any more simpler for any of you. We're fighting against total dehumanization. It's all happening right now. And I need your help. Don't call me and don't write me or all that stuff you can if you want. I don't have any meetings. It's an idea. It's a system. And it's okay to see fervor when it comes to politics. Your forefathers. It wasn't a perfect country, but it was better than most. Get your world history, but they've demonized our history. They stood on soapboxes and yelled and screamed about the foreign banks taking over. Every election, and held it off, and presidents were assassinated. There were attempted assassinations. The last speech, big speech Kennedy gave to a university was against the Federal Reserve, and he had his head blown off just a few weeks later. We all need to stand together, and we need to seduce the elite and show them there's more. If there's such a great elite and they're so wonderful, then don't dehumanize us any further. People are already slovenly and stupid enough. You don't have to engineer them that way. You don't have to train people in the make-believe world and train your kids about the make-believe. And we all just grow up in the matrix. Growing up in the matrix, my friends. But at least we haven't been inserted into the matrix of the future, and that's what the elite openly plans. We played Dan Rather talking about putting microchips in criminals' brains. Well, they're just criminals. Yeah, and it'll happen to you next. And it's cruel and unusual punishment, and it's a violation of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Oh, but it's an old document. What they're following now is an imperial slave system doctrine. And you'll confuse you with communist and socialist and fascist and all these other terms. It's all command and control, and we're always gravitationally pulled in to this political body. It has a political gravity that sucks us towards it. We've got to struggle away from it, towards anarchy, never reaching it. We wouldn't want anarchy. It's impossible in groups of bigger than 5 to 10 people. We're pulling away. This is the real political spectrum, away from control, always fighting a never-ending battle for freedom. The price of liberty and freedom is eternal vigilance, and it's just that clear, and you need to be conscious of it. I am out of control tonight.
Ma'am, I want to ask you about K-Tag. What exactly is K-Tag?
It's an automatic transponder, automatic toll system. You get a little transponder you put on your windshield.
So
it opens the gate for you. You're billed for it.
So you put an automatic transponder on your car. Part of the new smart highway system, or? I love it too. I'm gonna get one right in my forehead. Thanks a lot. We just drove through a toll road here in Kansas, and they're putting in these chips in your cars where you just drive right through it. I said to the lady, I said, do you like that? What do you think about that? And she goes, I think it's great. The lady that works here, and I forgot to tell her, oh, so you like something that's gonna make you lose your job? And plus, in a few years, you'll just have transponders in your cars to make sure you've paid your taxes. It's Pandora's box. But hey, it's a great idea. We're going to be slaves. I love it. Thumb scanning, urine testing for driver's licenses. Just great. I'm excited. Let's get back on the roads. Go pay more tolls and have transponders.
I'm standing at about the point where Timothy McVeigh supposedly parked the truck bomb, the fuel oil fertilizer bomb that destroyed the Murrah building.
Since April 19th, 1995, masses of evidence have come out. People have seen the newscast from the first day where they reported multiple bombs. Experts like General Benton Parton, ex-head of Air Force Weapons Development, Ted Gunderson, FBI chief, have documented with the U.S. Geological Survey's own seismographs that there were multiple explosions, that the building was blown out, and that it was impossible for a Ryder truck filled with even premium-grade military explosives to cause that damage. Now, there was probably a Ryder truck used as a diversion, and again, that corresponds to the multiple seismograph explosions shown by the state and federal agencies. But the media has chosen not to report on this. Now, here's the key point. They told you about a big crater. Newsweek had to show you an illustration because they didn't have any video evidence. Well, here is the video evidence. A pile of rubble. The building was blown out. Now we're fixing to show you some newscasts with more conflicting evidence. There you had the pile of rubble, not a crater.
We want to update our audience that the Justice Department is reporting that a second explosive device has been found in the AP Murrah building in downtown Oklahoma City. Mike, you're still with us, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I might tell you in addition to that, that in fact what we were told at the scene a few minutes ago was that in fact 2 different explosive devices were found in addition to the one that went off.
So a total of 3.
A total of 3, and of course
have is that one device was deactivated. Apparently there's another device, and obviously whatever did the damage to the Murrah building was a tremendous, very sophisticated explosive device.
unfortunately, this time, because, as we've told you, 2 other explosive devices were found and were not detonated, and they were larger. The first bomb that was in the federal building did go off. It did the damage that you see right there. The second explosive was found and diffused. The third explosive that was found, and they are working on right now as we speak, I understand, both the second and third explosives, if you can imagine this, were larger than the first. And what these later devices are doing to the rescue effort, time is so valuable right now as they try to get to these people who perhaps somehow are still hanging on. But there were more bombs set to go up, according to ATF officials.
Only President Clinton and his associates stood to gain from the April 19th, 1995 bombing. It created a police state. Thank God people like Representative Charles Keyes have been standing up against butchers like Reno.
President Clinton just called Governor Frank Keating, and he says that 3 FBI anti-terrorist teams are en route to Oklahoma City right now.
I've been able to confirm that it was a car explosion. Now, that word coming to us from Mayor Ron Norick earlier, 1,200 pounds of explosives parked out in front of the federal building. And ATF has confirmed that as well.
You just saw a 180-degree change in the newscast. The government line. Here you see a building right across the street, barely even damaged. And then, as you turn towards the Alfred P. Murrah building right across the street, you see absolute devastation. And you can't really see what happened here because they hurriedly destroyed the building, the crime scene, as quickly as possible and kept independent examiners and experts out. So we'll never really have a true accounting of what happened here. I've just been asking people that look like they're knowledgeable. Y'all familiar with what happened in 1933 in Germany? The Reichstag? Do y'all remember that? It happened to their parliament building?
Right, that's right. They blew that up. Hitler blew that up to get rid of or to make it look like it was the current government.
Communist, yes.
Or the communists.
Yes,
yeah.
He wanted fear, he wanted some terrorism bills, and he got them.
I work right here in this building. I was at work.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I thought this building was blowing up.
How many blasts did you feel?
2.
And how far apart were they?
Oh, probably about boom, and then it's boom.
And so it wasn't a rumble, it was 2 separate booms. Mm-hmm. Who do you think stood to benefit from that heinous bombing?
Basically, the government, by them wanting to do what they want to do, to be able to do come and go as they please, look, search, siege, or whatever, you know. They benefit more when stuff like this happens.
So you think it was important for them the American people were getting too uppity. We were tired of getting pushed around, and so suddenly something happens, and now government gets to come back and be Big Brother again.
Now they got a reason. Basically, you know, all it takes is a little for them to do a lot.
The facts are irrefutable. Treason is being engaged in. President Clinton bragged on Air Force One in 1996 to the press that he owed the revival of his presidency to the Oklahoma City bombing. General Parton, Ted Gunderson, Anthony Hilder, and many people with expertise in this area have documented what is happening. People like Jane Graham, who was a survivor inside the Murrah building, saw strange utility personnel placing packages against pillars in the lower areas of the building. We have photographs of the Ryder truck being loaded with fuel oil at Camp Grouper, and that is in northern Oklahoma. And you add this with the newscast before and then conflicting afterwards. You add this with Newsweek having to use a artist rendition to show you the 8-foot deep, 30-foot around crater. And then when you see the actual video evidence, it's a heap of rubble that's been blown out into the street, not in by a truck bomb. There were 2 explosions. The seismographs show that. And the only people that gained from this were those that are for federal power. Ladder Ranch, 220,000 plus acres. I think Mr. Turner's consuming quite a bit. Why does he state on C-SPAN that we're useless feeders that should all be killed? Because he's an unhappy elitist and he can't stand seeing you enjoy your middle-class life. He has to control your life. Just like his atrocity of a wife, Jane Fonda, better known as Hanoi Jane of the Hanoi Hilton, who went and told the North Vietnamese what a great job they were doing torturing our troops, and has authored the destructive policies that have turned women into absolute slaves of the establishment here in America. We know that there is a move towards a global government, abolition of private property, the destruction of national sovereignty,
in the name of the group collective. And what did David Rockefeller say about the public schools? What did he say about government training centers, or what he called the public schools? He called it helpless people yielding themselves to our molding hands. And these lovely, intelligent, but very young people are very easily molded by the establishment today. So let's go inside the teaching center here at the University of Texas and find out exactly what's happening to our youth of this nation. I see y'all are wearing little worlds there. Do y'all care about the world?
Yeah.
Y'all are good people, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do y'all think the United Nations is helping?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's a great way to like make world peace.
A great way to make world peace. Because through global governance, we can knock out all the troublemakers.
Yes.
Is that what y'all been talking about?
Yeah, like sort of. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I hope y'all have an enjoyable time.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
What do you think about the United Nations?
It's cool.
Yeah,
It's
like an organization.
I think
it's kind of fun.
it is really cool. It decides a whole lot of world issues.
Yeah, they might be.
World peace and stuff.
It's very
really exciting. Nifty.
Well, that's great. Let's get that. Model United Nations just one more than many committees. Helpless young people yielding themselves to the elite's hands. I could tell them about the people that really control it, but they never understand it. It's this petty taste of power that gets them to believe that they're really doing something good when they're really working for something bad. Notice your youth are not being taught about the Constitution. They are being taught about world constitution, world proletariat, orders from headquarters.
Actually, Secretary Schofield was wrong. The United Nations was first called the League of Nations and failed in 1918 under Woodrow Wilson. It's a push for a global taxation system. And our youth are being indoctrinated. They're being brought by their high school teachers and their junior high teachers to UT and universities across the nation to learn about giving up our sovereignty. They use careful semantics in choosing the term join the nationwide movement for a more effective United Nations. It's not a nationwide movement, it's a worldwide movement. About to see what happened whenever we went out to Congressman Doggett's neighborhood hours, as he calls them, at the HEB on Breaker Lane.
And now Clinton's trying to sneak it through under the guise of a medical ID card. What's your opinion of thumb scanning, urine, and blood testing for driver's license?
Well, you've asked about...
Yeah. What's your opinion of urine and blood testing for driver's license? Because President Clinton has ordered.
Well, I don't think President Clinton has ordered that.
My main question is the national ID card that has been being pushed through piecemeal ever since William Jefferson Clinton and the Clintonistas got in. And the main question that I have to you is about the national ID card and the thumb scanners that are being put in the state police departments to get driver's license across the state. Your state, Texas, since '94 has been thumb scanning all to get a driver's license, and now in the 1997 record, Clinton has now entered it in that he wants urine and blood testing for 25% randomly selected. Now, I know that's two questions. Can you first say what your stance is on the national ID card with privacy issues? And then can you answer the urine and blood testing that's now in the Federal Register?
Well, you've asked me about a series of things. One of them is thumb printing by state police departments. And my suggestion is that you take it up with George Bush. To the extent that there are decisions made by the Texas Department of Public Safety that are done here in the state of Texas.
Sir, it's a federal program.
They are state administered here.
It was mandated by President Clinton.
Well, I suggest that you take up with the state of Texas the way it's operating, and if it doesn't want to do these programs, for it to contact me and other people in the delegation and express that concern.
And then it won't get its highway money.
I welcome your forwarding your concern.
That's extortion, sir. That's extortion.
If you came out to do a radio program, you want to ask questions, but if you want to have a show,
people have been talking for 10 minutes. I'm going to ask these questions.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes.
You had the first 10 minutes of Congressman Doggett.
Do you have any other questions that you'd like to ask?
Yes, I have a question to ask you. My question is about the militarization of the police and secret military programs. It was on September 23rd, Lair NewsHour. It's been in all the major papers. What's going on with the Delta Force and local police departments here in Central Texas?
What specifically about?
Al A. Philippus on May 5th kicked out the Delta Force from Bexar County in San Antonio for attempting to bribe him.
I'm not familiar with it.
I have it on video.
Well, I'd be glad to get it, and then I'll be glad to comment on it.
I have another question for you, sir.
Okay.
And I'm asking these questions quickly. Others have talked 10 minutes.
Sure, you are.
Patty, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, I don't appreciate your attitude, sir. You had the first time. You're welcome to come out and ask your questions, but all these other people have rights, too.
I don't appreciate you abusing American citizens. You're abusing American... Don't you hit me. He only tried to hit me. Don't you abuse American citizens. You're a CFR trash. You're selling this country out.
Thank you for coming out.
We're going to stand against you. You remember that, buddy.
Thank you for coming out.
We stand against you for the Constitution of the United States of America.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you got it. No, we're out here. Let's go.
Where's the indictment?
He tried to... You are a worm.
According to their wishes, Mike was mainly just getting dogged. And that lady was continually talking and bumping into me while I was doing it. Then I tried to ask another question, and she was pushing me. And then Doggett takes his hand and shoves it underneath my chin. You can't really catch it on the tape, but as Mike pulls the camera back, you see his hand coming away, and he, like the textbook liar he is, he acts like he was trying to shake a hand. Here it is right here. Here it is. He was pushing me right there, then he acts like he was shaking that guy's hand. Unbelievable. Here's the rest of the annex. Then we'll go back over just a few more of his disgusting comments.
Well, I don't appreciate your attitude, sir. You had the first time. You're welcome to come out and ask your questions, but all these other people have rights, too.
I don't appreciate you abusing American citizens.
Much.
You're abusing American... Don't you hit me. He only tried to hit me. Don't you abuse American citizens. You're a CFR trash. You're selling this country out.
Thank you for coming out.
We're going to stand against you. You remember that, buddy.
Thank you for coming out.
We stand against you for the Constitution of the United States of America.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you got it. No, we're out here. Let's go.
Where's the indictment?
He tried to... You are a worm. That's fine. You never answered about Clinton and the missile technology, sir. You never answered about Clinton and the missile technology.
Please don't interrupt this gentleman. He's entitled
Answer
to...
about the missiles. Answer the question. Come on, let's go.
Don't leave. I'm calling the police.
Yeah, I'm not the threat. President Clinton is. I'm leaving, lady. I'm going to the radio for 4 hours tonight, every night. I'm out of here. You're in a controlled society. The information you're receiving is controlled. Conflagration's coming, smiley face slave. You're like the people that supported the Nazis, and you will pay. Let's go. You have a nice day too, bootlicker. Boy, there's some nice Nazi activity going on up there on the road.
Where's that?
Oh, just checkpoints. Guilty until proven innocent, the American way.
I recognize the voice.
Yeah, I got him talk show. See, but everybody just laughs. This is Bill Billion coming down to do this stuff. Your good friend Bill Clinton.
I'm not real big on it. I'm not real knowledgeable about federal checkpoints.
Well, no. Federal money to help local people do checkpoints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, everybody's begging to get federal money.
Yeah, everybody's begging it.
Free federal money.
Free? Well, we pay taxes for that free money.
Sure.
And then, so
I'm with you there.
And so the strings come, and we got Nazi checkpoints. I mean, go look at it.
Well, no, I have other things to do because I'm not part of that.
Oh, I know. How you doing? Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know. I recognize, like I said, I recognize the voice.
All right. We never sleep. I'll be up at 5 in the morning.
Matter of fact, when I saw your face, I thought I'd seen the face before, and so I listen to you on a regular basis.
Well, we're in deep trouble. Grow together and want love and compassion and strength to be fostered, and not this dysfunctionalism with the state controlling our every mode and our every action of life. Live, feel it, feel the life, live it, do it, be it, just do it, man. That's what it's all about here.
I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with standing up, and who cares what people think, because when you're a leader, they'll start to follow, and we need leaders. I'm looking for a few good men and women. I'm looking for leaders, people that don't care. They're real men that'll stand up no matter what the price. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're discussing here. I'll see you tonight, 11:30, Channel 10 for InfoWars.
Welcome to the